Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of Two Coaches, One Grizz. Today we're looking at a playoff picture that's almost set. Second chapter of Alabama and Georgia, but we need to begin today, gentlemen, with the latest AB incident. Mr. Antonio Brown going AWOL in this week's game. I mean, I don't even know where to start, how to start. So I'm going to let the Grizz go off. I know Coach is steaming here. So let's jump right into it, gentlemen. How we doing, and what the hell was that?
Doing good. It's a good weekend. Glad to be here. I've prepared a little timeline.
Oh, here we go.
I've got a little timeline on our boy AB, just so we can go over some of his transgressions over the last 4 or 5 years. Okay? First of all, I want to commend him for being a hell of an athlete. From 2013 to 2018, he led the NFL in receptions twice, receiving yards twice, and receiving touchdowns once. Okay? In the 2014 and 2015 seasons, he had 129 receptions, 136 receptions, 13 touchdowns, and 10 touchdowns respectively. Okay? Now, let's get into some of the fun. In 2017, let's not forget, he was one of the first guys to FaceTime or put up in the locker room with the Steelers
During the post game
speech. After they beat the Chiefs. Okay, he put everybody out there, which was something that wasn't to be done. That's a private celebration. So, boom, step number 1. 2018, the next year, he gets into it with his boy Big Ben. Big Ben's no longer his buddy. Okay, he ends up getting sued for throwing furniture off of his 14th floor apartment.
Incredible.
And last but not least, in 2018, he got cited for speeding over 100 miles per hour. Let's move on to 2019. He gets traded to the Raiders. The Raiders welcome him with open arms. Come on, come with us. He was trying to be so prepared that he got frostbite on his feet from cryotherapy. Remember?
Allegedly.
He missed. God knows what he was doing.
Allegedly.
Then we go into the whole helmet issue. I don't play. If I don't play with this helmet, I've had this helmet since I was 12 years old. Okay? Again.
Ridiculous, by the way.
How does that even make sense?
As coaches, we know that those things need to be recertified
after a certain amount of years, everything's got to go.
Done.
It's good. It's no good. Okay? And don't forget, I mean, he had a real nasty concussion.
And let's talk about that. Like, that's such a petty situation because a lot of the quarterbacks used the same helmet for years. They petitioned. They had a year or two grace period. And everybody jumped in line because at the end of the day, it's for your safety. And there's nice, comfy helmets out there right now that they can use.
But those guys...
Yeah. That was the slide right there.
After that situation, he gets fined. Raiders let him go. Tom Brady comes to the rescue the first time. The Pats sign him. He signs with the Patriots. However, he doesn't last but one game. Why? He gets accused by a former trainer, Brittany Taylor, sexual assault. Now, there was no prosecution because the statute of limitations had ended, but he did settle with her in civil court.
Right.
He also got accused by a second woman of sexual misconduct as well at the same time. And those are the two issues that got to his release. We jump to 2020. The Hollywood, Florida Police Department decides that he is no longer able to be a sponsor for their PLO, okay? After several domestic incidents at his house.
Which were taped.
Well, then, later on...
Video evidence.
He has an issue with a moving truck, gentlemen, that he ends up beating up. And, of course, one of my former players, who happened to be his trainer,
wow,
Glenn Holt Jr. from North Miami, was with him, and he gets embroiled into this situation. And mind you, Glenn, he's always been very quiet, never been... Here we are. So I'll go again. AB pleads no contest to the charges. Moving right along. Here we are in 2021. Gets a 3-game suspension for a fake vaccine card.
Which is a federal offense. You can be federally prosecuted. There is a federal seal on those things that cannot be duplicated.
It's not one of us trying to get on a flight to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's Antonio Brown with the NFL.
A multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
Nobody's going to notice. No, he owes a chef $10,000, and the chef turns him in. I almost feel like he got the boot.
Yeah.
another kick situation. And then last but not least, he gets asked to go into the game Sunday against the Jets, which, mind you, they're down by 2 or 3 scores. He tells Bruce Arians, "No, I'm not getting in my ankle." What do you mean your ankle? You have said nothing's wrong with your ankle. Where's the trainer? No, my ankle. He felt slighted, took off his stuff, and was doing jumping jacks on the way out
while
of
the
stadium.
offense was on the field.
Again, what are we talking about here?
So let's talk about this a little bit. You know, Antonio Brown, native son, right? South Florida. He
won a state championship in Norland.
His upbringing is documented. He had a very difficult, childhood, upbringing, youth. The fact that he was here and overcame all that, great. But it is known that he's been a little, mentally unstable. And kudos to the Steelers for 6 or 7 years for maintaining him within the guardrails.
Yeah, but you know what happened? As soon as he signed the big contract,
and
he
that's
signed
exactly,
for $42 million,
and that's exactly
all
where
of
I
a
was
sudden
going.
he was the franchise.
And that's exactly where I was going with this. It doesn't matter how many handlers you have, people to provide structure for someone who is very, has a proclivity to, step out of line. Once you give individuals that much money and you back up the Brinks truck for them, it's no holds barred. You have just enabled them. And that is where this all started to come to light. Because not only have they had that personal view of themselves.
Sadly, what happens is
now they become invincible.
The guy had 6 good seasons. The guy was a solid receiver. The guy was a number one receiver.
He was on a tear.
He was a number one receiver.
Historical clip.
Want to reward the guy. Ben Roethlisberger's number one receiver, feels good. You want Big Ben, I'm sure. Listen, let's keep this guy as solid. He's still in his prime. So, we're looking good here. So, what do? You don't sign him? You don't pay him money? Of course you do. He's an adult. They're supposed to be responsible enough to understand what's required.
The Grizz looks like he's got a serious gripe here. He looks like he's about to unload, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to wish you guys a Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I was quiet there because I needed the coaches of this podcast to let their feelings be known. But we're going to have the Grizzlies gripe a little sooner than I wanted. I was going to gripe a little bit on my Fins, but they were overtaken.
We did next segment.
We'll get into them later. I'm not worthy of a gripe anyway. But I will gripe on this gentleman, Antonio Brown. I'm a little annoyed because a guy with this kind of skill, this type of talent, first 6 years, like you said, great career already,
Historical
right?
clip.
You could even say Jerry Rice-esque. The guy was heading down an amazing career. The guy
on the path to Canton.
The guy, you could have gave him the gold jacket like they did with Chad Ochocinco years before when he did that touchdown celebration. He was ready, getting fitted for it. And then, like you said, the guy's in love with himself. I don't know if we understand. He loves the attention. That whole Facebook crap that he did, that was just the beginning, obviously, of that attention. And then when you get cut by the Steelers, and you got John Gruden, man. That guy, come on. Who doesn't want to play for John Gruden? Not now, but at the time, who didn't want to play for that guy? The Raiders, a place where, you get second chances and, we give him a shot. Hey, it's the Raiders, man. Guy couldn't even get on the field, bro. You already touched on the helmet. Retarded. I'm sorry I used that word, but it's true.
Okay, you can use a hard R there.
Yeah, I will use it for him. And then the guy goes to the Patriots to play with the GOAT of coaching and quarterbacking. And, you do your thing, bro. You do it the Patriot way, you're going to be fine. Guy gets a touchdown on said Fins, second week, I think it was. He got his touchdown. Guy was gone the week after because of the allegations. Coach Belichick is not about that. And then he went and attacked Kraft. If I remember correctly, he had some talk about the ownership at New England, which that guy's.
It makes no sense.
I wish I had that owner.
No, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
And then he gets yet another chance to play in this league, another chance to play with Tom Brady, who vouches for you, lets you sleep at the guy's house with his family. I got your back, bro. The guy gets to play on a Super Bowl team. He's given a touchdown in said Super Bowl. He's a champion. Then come this year, he has his little faux pas with the card. And before the card, I remember, Arians saying there's a zero tolerance. You can't mess up or you're out. Well, he messed up. He should have been out. But they didn't get rid of him. Why? Because, injuries and COVID. Things make you change your mind when you got to win.
Things are a little touchy. Which
I'll give him a little pass. But unfortunately, that's on coaching and that's on the owners. They give these guys chances. And when he's not was he suspended?
3 games.
A couple days off.
3 games suspended for 3 games.
That was just a vacation for
suspended for 3 games, $300,000 fine.
Yeah, which another thing, $300,000 fine. Guy could have made it up this week with a few catches because he had 3 different incentives that paid him $1/3 adding to $1 million. So I know people without legs that would be, hey, coach.
Let me in.
I'm in, bro.
I'm ready. Put me in.
I'll go, hey, with a crutch. Let's go. And this guy oh, no, I'm hurt. I don't want to go in. And for that, bro, hey, that's it, bro. You're done. Any other team signs this guy, they're fools. I don't care. This guy ain't going to get you anywhere but on a headline. And not the headline you want. It's just terrible. And as my fellow Coach Gill has said, it's just, this is where we're at. This is a product of the society of these social media kids, and I'm me, and like, come on, man. I mean, let's not even, we were talking earlier about the another Raider with a DUI. Of all the teams to get a DUI on, you're gonna get it with the team that had earlier during the season kill a lady, bro, driving 150 miles. Like, common sense. We don't teach kids common sense. Apparently,
it's the least common of the senses.
It's annoying. The gripe of all gripes.
It's incredible.
Common sense, man. I hate this. I hate people that do dumb things that are easily solved. Easily solved.
My frustration with this is okay, yes, like ridiculous rap sheet. These athletes get paid a king's ransom to play a child's game. Okay? And it's not like this happened in a contained environment where you can kind of tamp down the reverberations of it. Like, he, for better or for worse, is a role model for athletes. And don't think for 1 second, Coach, you've coached football for better part of 30 years. I've been a part of the game for over 20 years of my life, most of my life. Listen, these kids are going to see that. It enables the negative behaviors that we fight every day in a profession as coaches.
I bet you half the kids you guys coach today probably have an Antonio Brown poster, think that guy's the man. They're still fans of that guy to this day. And half of it is maybe from the game, but the other half is from the social media aspect. The guy gets kicked off the team and a few hours later drops a rap song. I mean, in a way, I think he kind of planned it.
Did he set it up? Yeah, that's the other side of it.
Saying,
people have talked about maybe he was setting that up. Maybe it's just a setup for that.
I don't think he cares about playing the game anymore.
And the thing is, like, they threw him a bone because in any other situation, in most other organizations, in any other job, you commit a federal offense.
They threw that guy. They threw that guy a ribeye.
That was a potential felony.
A big, nice fat tomahawk.
That was a potential felony. He could have been prosecuted, and they threw him the ultimate bone. And you know why? Guess what? Because a week before, Chris Godwin blows out his knee. And all of a sudden, they need him more than ever.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and sadly, that is the issue that's always plagued him as a player. Plagues a lot of these young men as players. That the team supposedly needs him. They look the other way, and sooner or later, you're going to pay the piper.
And it enables the behavior. Again, and you know what? Everybody, but he you're a role model, dude. The whole world saw that.
Well, they're all role models. Listen, at the end of the
with
day,
great power comes great responsibility.
At the end of the day,
model.
those guys that get to the NFL are role models, whatever position they may play. Okay,
whether they want to be or not.
Whether they want to or not,
they're in the limelight.
It's the same thing with the NBA. But it's where kids want to be.
Bro, nowadays,
it's where us as grown men still would like. Man, if I only had a shot.
We barely got to see, with the amount of ways you can watch a game or follow people. We barely got to see these people when we were younger. Now these guys grow up looking at these players more than they look at their parents.
24/7,
and that's their life. Look, holding a phone and just watching the game and ignoring what mom says. No, I'm busy doing this, or whatever. Look at what Antonio Brown, he got away with that. It's a bad example, man. And, I miss the days of the Barry Sanders handed to the ref. I'm that guy. And I don't mind. I don't like the rule of excessive celebration, getting, flagged for that. I mean, it has to be kind of obvious to me. If someone's having fun, I like it. Have fun, all that. These guys, the defenses have fun with their teammates when they get a turnover. That's cool. But, you can tell when something's getting a little bit off the wall. And Antonio Brown was off the wall years ago.
Back in the day, the Washington
that team,
Redskins, their receivers were called the Fun Bunch. And when they scored, they would go into the end zone. They would have us choreographed. I mean,
I'm okay with that.
I get that, and that's great. It is. It's part of the game. But the problem comes in when it's about me.
Correct.
Me. And I'm going to say this, too. They made a comparison with him and Terrell Owens, which is completely out of line. Because that guy played with a broken ankle. That guy did above and beyond
10
to
or
try
11
to play
catches,
the game.
150 yards receiving in the Super Bowl.
So again,
with the broken ankle.
With screws in there.
The guy came back like 6 weeks after.
He was eccentric and he did some crazy stuff here and there. I get that. Because again, he was trying to the popularity thing to get more money. Understood. But he never sacrificed the team.
When did that guy ever give up on his team?
Correct.
Ever.
Correct.
Never. You know why? That guy was all about that. And he would have his fun outside of the game. You want to do push-ups in front of your lawn? Who cares? It's in front of your house. And that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that you can say about that guy.
That's the worst thing that he ever did, right?
Well, if you think about what Terrell Owens has ever done, was the worst thing was having that press conference outside and doing sit-ups. Woo!
It was
that
never.
Guy never.
It was never about all this other stuff.
Did that guy ever get in trouble with the law?
Not that I know of.
Never that you knew of, right? Huh? All that guy did was, he didn't. He told his truth. People rubbed the wrong way, and that's it. You get kicked out of the league because you don't want to play by those rules. But this guy acting like a joke. What I told you earlier. Remember when Vontae quit on the teams in the
he was in the locker room.
That guy looks like great now because at least he was in the locker
privately.
Room. Whatever happened.
Hey, I'm done, guys.
But this guy just walks out. And one of my favorite things watching this over and over, not that I like it, but hey, you gotta laugh. The best thing is when he starts to take off all his stuff and all the players in the background are looking at what's this joker doing, bro?
What's going on? Yeah.
Other people are like, what are you doing, bro? Oh my God!
And him and his supposed bad ankle are doing jumping jacks and running out of the stadium. Again, I have no stomach for this guy.
To drop.
Now, let's circle back around and close this up here. Fact or fiction, true or false? Is he on another NFL roster after this?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see that happening. I really don't. And on the heels of the Urban Meyer fiasco, okay, I don't see AB getting another shot. I really don't.
I would say he could have got another shot even after all this had it been 4 years ago when he was 4 years younger. Thing is, every time he's doing this, he's getting older. And he's only going to get slower, and it's not worth it. I mean, honestly, how many times has Josh Gordon been allowed to try to come back? And at least that guy, he's had serious issues. He's had drug issues, whatever it is. But, he tries. He's just not good at it anymore. He's on a team right now. Is he playing? You only got, 2 or 3 plays out of that guy maybe in a game. And he's younger, and it's just your time is going to go, man. And nobody's going to take a chance that I think.
I know nobody's going to vouch for him.
I don't think so.
And I don't think a head coach is going to put his job on the line. I think head coaches already are on thin ice as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got to win and they got all these other issues. The last thing that they want is that headache.
You couldn't make it with the Raiders. You couldn't make it with the GOAT. what else is there? There's nowhere else he can go that he'd have to be the number one option, but he's probably going to be the number one option on a 2-14 team. And what do you think he's going to be?
I don't see
the
I don't
model
see,
citizen during that time.
I don't see Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions side.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm done with that guy, and honestly, I think we're done with him here.
Yeah, listen, I agree with everything. I'm just saying. Let's not be surprised if he does end up on another roster.
Unfortunately, nothing else surprised me in life anymore. Him even being signed with another team still won't be the weirdest or craziest thing that's ever happened. So, sure, there's always a chance. But today, no chance.
Heard. We're gonna leave it there. And we're going to cool off for a second. We'll be back here when we shake this off to talk about the NFL playoff picture going into the last week of the season. All right, we're cooled off. We're locked in and we're focused for some NFL action. Playoff picture is looking like it, pretty set here. The Packers locked up number 1 seed, right, and a first round bye in the NFC. Okay, and in the AFC. Right, we still got a little bit of a chance here for the Chiefs. Right, the Chiefs win and the Titans lose. Okay, they'll lock up the number 1 seed. But right now the Titans are in the first seed after locking up their division. We got 2 playoff berths still available in the AFC and 1 playoff berth that's still up in the air in the NFC. Gentlemen, let's talk about the highlights here of this weekend and what we're looking at as we move forward into the last week of the season and into the playoffs. Coach, what you got for me?
Well, I think the biggest game is going to be the Chargers at the Raiders because whoever wins is in. So that to me is going to be the most competitive game of all of them. Both teams are division rivals. The Raiders just came off of a huge win this weekend. So they might even be getting their tight end Waller back.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think that game is going to have a lot of fireworks in it. It's just something that I think that those 2 teams are going to bring it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Everybody else is in.
Yeah,
everybody else is in.
Everybody else is pretty much clinched. That's pretty much the one.
Indy's got whatever.
They're locked in pretty much. Like there's a little bit of a shuffle going on there. I
hate calling it an easy game and stuff like that because there are no easy games. We've learned that.
But if you were to call one an easy game, Coach,
we've learned that this year in the NFL. But you know what I heard today, Grizz?
What?
Last year, guess what the only game that the Jacksonville Jaguars won last year was?
I don't know. You can tell me something like the Colts, maybe?
It's the Colts. When do you think was the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville? And any year, any date that you might think that?
I'm going to guess 2016.
2014.
Wow.
Exactly. So, there just isn't an easy game.
There is not an easy game.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
But if there was to be one,
yeah, you would circle that one. You circle Houston. But again,
do they have their players back? That's all I want to know because I heard they had like 20 people missing last week.
Well, I think Wentz and everybody should be back. Everybody played.
Well, I'm talking about the Jaguars had 20 people missing. That's why they lost to the Patriots by like 50 or something.
Well, I think the Patriots just smoked them because it's a rookie quarterback.
Once again, everything was...
listen, the
rookie quarterback against Bill Belichick is an actual fact.
Exactly.
You go up against Bill Belichick when you're a rookie,
first year, second year quarterbacks against Bill Belichick or Owen forever. But that's my whole thing. That to me, that game could be dangerous. Right. I think Jacksonville will be playing.
I do agree with you there.
And the Colts are still coming off of...
They're a 15.5-point favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. Talk to Tom Brady after this Sunday. Thankfully they won and I cashed the over 11.5, but I was sweating that one. The Jets were beating the crap out of them.
When was the last time a 15.5-point favorite lost?
Not too long ago.
Okay.
Not too long ago. I think it happened earlier this season.
No.
In this season? No way.
I think it happened earlier this season.
Do tell. Because obviously I'm not aware of the stat.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
But I think against the Bills. The Bills were 2 touchdown favorites against these.
Bingo, sir.
But what
the 9-6 win.
Or were they 15
for the Jags?
I'm not sure. I have to go back, but I know at least they were 2 touchdowns. They were over 2 touchdowns.
For sure.
So Again, that's
A barn burner, 9-6 earlier in the season.
That's all. That's all I'm going to say as far as that's concerned. I do think there's a lot of things going on, and we'll finally have the clear picture after this weekend.
I will tell you this.
On the nose, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
15.5.
Thank you. There you go.
There you go. See, like that's
so we still got time for it to go up.
That's impressive. I will tell you this though, Titans, if they can hold on to that number 1 seed, we're hearing today that Derrick Henry, if needed, is ready to go this week. If they can hang on to that number 1 seed and the playoffs, the AFC playoffs goes through Titans and Derrick Henry's back, that's gonna be interesting.
I don't think he at any moment plays on Sunday.
I'm just saying, if they needed
even
him.
if he's available, even if he's needed. But even if he's needed, I still rather have another week.
Correct. I
still
agree.
a home game.
It's okay. If we lose that game, we lose it and we move on.
You lose to the Texans.
That's
Shame
fine.
on you, sir.
That's fine.
No,
let's man up and win games.
And again, I agree. But again, if they're able to hold on to that first round bye, now that gives Derrick Henry 2 weeks to get back to where he's at. They already say that he's running, he's cutting,
but
he's
again,
doing workouts, he's in cleats.
But you don't want to expose him on Sunday to try to get those 2 weeks.
No, 100%.
You want to win Sunday. And that way he's got plenty of time
almost
to do all the needs to get done.
Almost any other position in almost any sport, I want my guy back, get back a little rhythm, get back into the flow of things. But the position of running back, I just need you there.
And
that
again,
man needs no reintroduction.
Thank you.
That other little running back that they got,
and he's got 2 more.
The more carries he gets, I think the better it is for him and for that team.
Not to mention, after this week, I saw a great backup.
Very impressive. Patient runner. Hit the holes. And once he was there, he took advantage of his opportunities. I was impressed.
Texas Longhorn.
You put him in this week at any point. I swear, if you put him in, if you put Henry, I don't care. Even if it's the right thing.
It's not a smart move.
As another team, will look at you as you're a scared team, and their coach, Vrabel's not a scared guy. That guy, I'm telling you, I'm glad to know that he's back and he's ready to play. That's amazing. You know how fresh that's going to be having him 2 weeks from now at home as the number 1 seed.
That's a nice little ace up your sleeve.
Man, if that's
a nice
the case,
little ace up your sleeve.
Titans,
right there.
bro. Titans.
Yeah, they can be
very, very likely going to the bowl. But
that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. It's very interesting.
It is
because it's going through. It'll be going through there. Now,
that's what I see.
Another team, very interesting, very impressive. Joe Burrow's been on a tear lately. Okay, he's looking like the phenom that he was drafted to be.
These guys, you could take a little time off because they're not going to improve. They could have the number 1 seed, yes, but they need the Titans and the Chiefs to lose,
correct,
to get that number 1 seed. Very highly unlikely, and if I remember correctly, he came off the field hurt.
Yeah, but he was okay. He was okay.
But I'm saying, if he's banged up,
right.
I might.
But he was okay.
I might put him out for the week. Let's get him some rest. Come back the week after. You got a home playoff game, which the Bengals haven't won a home playoff game in.
They made it. Yeah, they've lost
a long time, more than
their last 5 playoff appearances.
They'll be able to play. They'll be able to play Cleveland. Cleveland, I don't think. First of all, Baker's not playing. He's out.
Yeah.
Right.
He's going in for surgery. They're going to be sitting a bunch of guys.
That's why I think you bench this guy, let their backup play. You'll probably still win the game anyway.
Right.
And
you've won your division.
Let's call it a day,
You're good to go. And I'll be honest with you. With a young quarterback, I think it's better for him to play right away than to be sitting for a week and a half pondering and thinking and things of that nature. Are
we comfortable to start talking about Burrow's potentially playing like a top 5 quarterback, or do we say he needs to prove it in these playoffs?
Well, I mean, it's a first year. I mean,
anybody needs to prove it in the playoffs.
He's a 3rd-year quarterback. It's a second-year quarterback
coming off an ACO.
Right. It's his first year in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot more. He's done a great job. I mean, Jamar Chase went off this weekend. I mean, again, he just like he said, it's like the meme.
Like I
Just,
run my fantasy
throw
football.
it up. F it. Jamar's out there.
Yeah, he's out there somewhere. He'll go get it.
You know.
And
But-
kudos to the Bengals for
the
not
50
listening
burger
to
on
the
me.
noise about drafting O-line and getting that guy hit Burrow's favorite target in quarterback. I mean, that's a great, hindsight, obviously, but that was a great move by the Bengals.
If you see talent, go get it.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about some
Especially
teams.
with the chemistry that they had in the past.
I mean, if you really, really, really need a lineman, go get a lineman. But if you don't, go get
In my
talent.
opinion, it's always been best guy available.
Right.
Who's the best player available?
That guy was the
Yeah,
best.
you get yourself into trouble when you try to draft for need.
And he's the best player available.
No, I call him the best
know?
monster available.
And then you can go from there. Their offensive line has played very, very well.
Very much improved, yes,
Okay?
sir.
So again, those are all little things that are helping them play well. I don't know how many games they will win in the playoffs.
Definitely a dark horse, though, right? If they get
Definitely a
hot.
dark horse. Definitely a dark horse.
Right
I
now,
do.
they're picked against the Colts. What do you feel? You think they could play the Colts and win that game?
I think
feel
if
they
it
could.
turns into a track meet, Bengals all day.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a track meet though.
Right.
These guys,
They got a great defense.
Indianapolis,
I like their defense.
the Indianapolis defense is solid.
But what
and
I
they're
mean-
going to run the
And
football,
What I
run
mean
the
by
ball.
that,
and they're going to take the air out of the.
Keep that offense on the
right.
on the
But what I
sideline.
mean by
Correct.
that is that if the ball needs to be in Carson Wentz's hands and they need him to make plays, it's you got to go.
Yes.
You got to favor the Bengals.
Yes. Again, like I said,
I know. I
think
get what
going
you're saying.
in, they will run the football. They'll be patient about it, and and I think they'll be at full strength. The Colts will with Ty and their receiver. I mean, they do have a nice
Yeah.
little core receivers.
They do.
That if again when
Pittman
play
came
action,
along strong this year.
first down and things like that, mix it up just a little bit. Just mix it up a little bit so you can get Taylor going.
Yeah. Yeah, they go as he goes. Every time he's
Yes.
rushed for 100 yards this year,
Correct.
they're undefeated.
Correct. And again, that defense plays really, really well.
Yeah. Let's jump to the NFC side. Packers locked up the number one seed. The playoffs are going to go through them.
Yeah, their quarterback isn't an MVP.
Heard
though.
something interesting.
Their quarterback just isn't an MVP
Yeah.
guy. He's
After-
a jerk. He's a jerk. He's a jerk.
After Rogers' little pinky
We got a
toe.
little mini gripe here.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to that in a second.
How is it? How do you get
Gil's
a job?
got the major gripe. I'm following with
How
the
do you
gripe.
get a job being a sports writer and then coming off and speaking and saying, no, that guy's not the MVP.
do we
He's not
have
the-
his-
I wouldn't vote for him as MVP.
Do we have this guy's name? Can we
What is
tag him?
wrong
Can we
with
tag
you?
him on this
What is
episode?
wrong with you? I mean, that's ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever.
We're all about accountability here. If he hears this, I'll
mean-
tab him on.
When they made the word asinine, this is exactly the comment that word is used for. Like I couldn't find a better word for this comment.
He's a jerk. Okay, so what does that got to do with him playing
Right.
and balling? And again, the way he carries his team,
Right.
the way you see his relationship with Devontae, with everybody. I mean, really?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to hang your hat on because,
It's definitely not gonna
he
age
was
well.
immunized, so therefore I can't vote for him to be the MVP because he was selfish and he immunized. Get out of here!
Definitely not gonna
outta
age well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Give me a
No.
break, man. Like,
Playoffs are going to go through Green Bay, the frozen tundra. Okay, and we'd like to note, just an aside, after Mr. Rogers' pinky toe situation, he stormed for like 25
and
touchdowns.
he's been playing with a banged up toe, and they step on it. You see him; they kick him all the
Yeah.
time. Oh,
He's wearing O-lineman boots during the game, those fat cleats to try to protect himself.
Listen, I'm
the
not,
gentleman's name is Hub Arkush.
Hub or Koosh?
Arkush.
Listeners,
Hub
tag
Arkush?
him when you listen to our show. We want him on. I want him to justify
how
himself.
do you even
This
how do you
is-
even say that?
We're calling out a member of the media.
The guy sounds like a bad fake name. Like the type of name that you'd give.
These are the guys that
Seymour
have
Butts.
votes. These are the guys that they give votes.
I'm sorry,
to.
Coach. Before you go, he sounds like the dude that's been behind the computer his whole life and has never actually played the game of football. And there's a lot of those in this business, but you sound like one of those guys.
So is Tom Brady a jerk when he gets on the players on the sideline when he has his tirade? Because it happens. We've seen it for years. How he gets in the guys, hey man, what are we doing? And he gets in people's face. Give me a break, man.
People that
You are
argue that.
granted that license
Yeah.
with the position.
And when you play to the
Correct.
level that gentleman has been playing
Correct.
Yeah.
and continues to play.
Correct.
Okay, you can gripe about anything, but don't tell me that he's not worthy of an MVP vote.
He's not.
Don't say that. Don't say, "Oh, he's not worthy of my MVP vote." Give me a break.
It's just asinine.
Yeah.
All right, moving along.
Moving right.
So looking at the NFC playoff picture, again, Packers, they locked up the first round bye. Playoffs is going to go through Green Bay. That is a huge deal.
The frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra.
Lambeau Field.
That's big, especially the fact that we have 3 dome teams that are clinched in the playoffs here. We got the Cowboys, we got the Cardinals, and we got the Rams, right? They're all nice and cozy in their billion-dollar stadiums, right? With air conditioning and no wind, and they're nice and warm. Let's see, put your money where your mouth is when you're up there.
You're
in
going
the
to
elements.
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And the only
with
reason
the cheeseheads.
And the only reason I'm not throwing the Bucks in there is because the GOAT has done it in every freaking term or every type of
He
weather.
did it last year.
Well, he's used to
NFC
it.
Championship game.
He's used to it.
But that's
regardless,
you know,
that's where the biggest.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
That's where the biggest effects are.
Yeah, but
Quarterback exchange,
nothing-
ball
listen.
grip.
Nothing matters to that man in any weather, in any situation.
He just plays,
Nothing.
man.
It's because he's
And
the ice king.
Once again, we have a year ago that his team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went to Green Bay and won there. So it has zero to do with anything, unless it's like snowing. It's one of those games, but even then, it doesn't
He's
matter.
used to it.
I have faith in
He's
that guy.
used to it.
Here's the problem: I don't think they get there.
Yeah.
I don't think they get
Yeah.
to the NFC.
Yeah, they're banged up.
Championship.
They're really
they're
banged
hurting
up.
right now,
They're
and
really
they have
banged
to
up.
win a couple games.
Yeah.
Wild card, obviously, again, and I just think if they match up against the Rams, hell, even the Cowboys, it doesn't look good. I just don't think
And I
it'll
agree with
get
you,
there.
but I will say this: that Brady has shown and proven that he can adjust on the fly throughout the season,
Right.
with whatever adversity he has. And don't be surprised, right? Now going down this stretch, and that Mike Evans just starts going off.
Well, he has to.
They
Not
don't-
that he
They
has
don't
much
have
of a
the
choice,
guys, they don't
but
have-
The
they don't
guy,
have
the
Brown
guy that's
anymore.
going to be going off is Gronkowski.
And Gronkowski.
And Gronk.
obviously.
Gronk is a guy who's going to isn't huge for them.
right.
Okay.
You know.
Again, my only concern with that team is the
their
defense.
defense.
The back of their defense just isn't.
Right.
It's not there.
Yeah, like last year, their defense stopped Aaron Rodgers. This year, that game's going to be,
It's gonna be
Tom
different.
can still get you to 30s. Problem is, Aaron's probably going to be in the 40s. So, defense is going to be a problem.
And the Green Bay defense has been playing
Lights out.
extremely well.
They've been playing very
they're top 3 in the NFL. So,
they've been
been-
going
yeah.
opposite directions.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
But yeah,
Go ahead, Coach.
no. I was just
we have-
gonna,
there's
the
one-
rest
there's-
the Cowboys.
Yeah,
is
there's one
the
playoff
other
berth
team there.
available, right? We had 49ers win and they're in.
Yeah, and let me be honest, I need the 49ers. Please don't let the Saints go in there because you got 1 week where they kind of win a game. Hell, they've swept the Bucks. They shut out the Bucks, and then they lose really bad to the Dolphins, the Bills at home. It's like a team that I don't want to see that. At least the Niners got a good defense. It's a good, fun team. They're probably going to give whoever they play a game. Let's just get that out of the way and hope the Niners can beat the Rams.
They go play the Rams, and they've owned the Rams.
They've owned them.
They've been playing very well
Problem
against
is,
the Rams. So
the
we'll
Rams
see.
need to win,
Right.
so they can win the division.
Correct.
So that's gonna be a.
That's another good. That's
besides
another
your Raider game.
Correct.
That's the best game in the NFC.
Yes.
And the second best
Agreed.
game overall,
Agreed.
with the most on the line.
All
Agreed.
right. So looking at
And the only reason I didn't say that was a best game is because the backup quarterback is playing for San Francisco.
Yeah.
So the other one has more
course.
fireworks as far as throwing the ball.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
But I agree. That game is another game that's going to be
right. So let's look at the big picture here. Okay, going forward, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable like we always do.
Of course.
Fact or fiction? True or false? Packers, are they in the Super Bowl?
True.
Coach?
I think they are the best team in the NFC, and I do think that they'll go to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Fact or fiction? True or false? Aaron Rodgers, MVP.
That's,
No conversation, right? Except for
I
that
think,
one guy.
I think he deserves it. I really
I think
do.
100%
Except for
he's the
Koopa Douche
MVP.
or whatever his
Yeah,
name is.
100% he's the MVP of this league. Look at what he's done. Stats wise, look at what he's done. has the number one team in the NFL.
His team without him
In a year.
is not.
Oh, nothing.
I mean, again, he won a game 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago without the receivers.
Right.
All he had was tight ends.
Right.
I think that's something to
In
that
a year
nature.
of the parity that this league has shown, they still stand above everybody else. This is I think the most losses, like the most losses that the AFC number one seed will have in like 40 years or something. Like they are the standard, and he is the standard. So without them,
Speaking of standard, I saw a stat, and I'm hopefully I get it correctly.
yeah.
Over the last
If not, someone Google it.
Yeah,
Let us know that we
someone
messed up.
Google it.
It's all good.
Tag me, stat correct me, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Over the last 4 seasons.
Sure, if you tell me I did something wrong, at least I know you listen.
Yeah, over the last 4 seasons, Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 132 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. That's almost a 9-to-1 ratio.
So he threw 4 picks this year.
But I'm
He's
saying
thrown
over the
4
last 4
picks this year.
That is
Listen.
excellence.
Every
Listen,
time, every
4
now and then,
picks this
every now
year.
and then, I get annoyed by a one Stephen A. Smith, but I just love when he says he's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
Because he goddamn is a bad man.
He is.
He is a better, like obviously Tom Brady is the best because of what he's done, but he's the best quarterback we've ever seen.
We're gonna do this right now. We are gonna do
Like
this.
from A to Z pure package.
I do think that it can be mutually exclusive. You can have a GOAT, the greatest of all time, which is Tom Brady,
And then you can have a little chivito, like something on the side. that-
No. And you can have a boat, the best of all time.
But I do think but
you go back to it's like the MVP. What do you pick for the team?
But you have
team
to understand
aspect
that
or the best player in the league.
Brady is the GOAT because he's just won the championship and been to the big dance so many times.
Right.
You get me? It's not like he's won.
The only difference for me
He's been
is
to 5 NFC championships, and he's been and I know we don't want to curse here, but just some absolute fuckery. All right, that's the only word bad word I'm gonna use that has avoided or haven't allowed him to get to the Super Bowl.
Whatever it is, listen again. Whatever it is, Tom's gotten there,
Right.
won it. Okay, and Aaron hasn't.
You know what the history
And that's
shows?
always good because the same thing happens
history
with
will
Marino.
show-
The same thing happens with Marino and Montana.
The histories will show titles,
Exactly.
no titles.
100%.
One title in this.
And
episode.
that's always
It
the
does not
argument with
matter.
Montana and Marino. Montana went and he won 4 or 5. Marino could, and it is what it is. Now, Rodgers still has a few more years left, so we'll see what happens in the next couple of
and he
years.
still has a chance to win a couple.
You're right.
But it's funny how you
I
say
just
Marino.
think he's done more in his career despite the system and playing above that.
But that's-
Whereas Brady, it's facilitated, it's synergized his ability.
But,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
you have to understand
Look,
that
Brady has had teams where he's had nobody of consequence to throw the ball to. So that guy's made players.
And he's
He had a
played through the
combination.
system.
Yeah, he had a combination. That guy was the ultimate, the double. He's a great player and the ultimate best team system player.
Yes.
Because he melded perfectly with Bill Belichick and their thought process on what to
that's
do.
what I'm saying.
Give up money so other people can sign and so that it could always keep going, the engine running. But at the same time, he is great. He is a surgeon. That guy's so smart and being so long in the game. But Aaron Rodgers is more like physically a better quarterback in other aspects. I don't know.
And he's had to play. And he's had to play above the limitations
and,
of
and,
the. And that's
he
what, and
has
that's what I'm
his
trying to
own
say.
limitations, obviously
Correct.
limited on coaches that he's had,
And that's where I'm going. Correct.
Obviously, now I'm just saying, if he had like 3 Super Bowls right now, I think you could probably say it without even blinking an eye. He's the best. And you can obviously still get an argument because of Brady's stuff. But one title, it's hard. That's what I was trying to say is Marino, the other day I saw someone, an athlete, I forgot who it was, but there's still athletes out there that consider Marino the best quarterback ever in this day and age, which I, have come to realize he's not, but he's still, to me, a top 5 pure quarterback passer.
He was an
And
excellent quarterback.
Greatness of the player shouldn't be only valued on how many titles, because especially in a game of football where you have so many moving parts, you really need the ultimate team game to get these things, everything to happen perfectly. The guy gets there in his second year, right? And he would have been thought to have gotten there forever. Just never happened. With the other greatest coach of all time in Don Shula, just perfection needs to be everything happened.
There's so many
And
elements
then
to
you
it.
execute. And that's why Brady is the GOAT, because he's executed the most out of anybody.
So many factors that go into
Joe Montana's the other guy because he was perfect.
One game, and that's what separates football as a sport from the other sports. You got 7-game series. This is good, bad, and different.
And it's also the ultimate team sport.
Correct.
If your special teams doesn't come through, boom, you're giving up. If your defense isn't playing well, boom. It's all every facet of the game.
100%.
It's every facet of the game.
Yeah. But since the game doesn't lend itself to be a 7-game series, imagine playing 7 games over like 3 months of seeing who the best team is. It just doesn't lend itself.
Correct.
It's always been known to be, hey, it's one game.
Right.
You come, you show up, greatness. That's why it doesn't matter that a team was 18-0. They didn't show up to the 19th game and they lost. And history will always know that they're losers. And that there's only one team that went perfect in their life. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter. In a sport like football, it's what have you done for me lately? And what do you like where's your trophy room?
Listen,
let me see
the perfect example.
In basketball it's like that too, obviously to a point.
The perfect example of what you're talking about is the Buffalo Bills. They are infamous. Four straight.
But they did something that was so unique that
Correct.
They have a slice of history that will always be remembered. There are, for the losers, there are a certain little slice of losery that gets to hang
losery?
out. In a nice little area. It goes, hey, they were good. They just couldn't win the biggest game.
Right.
And there are people too. They wake up, everything's good with them, but they're not champions. They'll never know what it is to feel being a winner. So, but hey, we're there. We'll do a documentary on you guys.
Let's we talked about what the playoff picture looks like, what we believe is going to happen, and we kind of there is a certain level of certainty in the future of the NFL. But let's look at the AFC, right? That picture's not as clear, okay? And we're gonna play this game again, fact or fiction, true or false. When the dust settles, who's the AFC champion, okay? And who in our heads, right? What we're predicting is going to go against the Packers in the Super Bowl. I think it's a toss-up between, especially if the Titans get Henry back, I think it's between the Titans and the Chiefs. Okay, but I'm not ready to go fact or fiction on that though. I'm not ready to book it. What do you gentlemen think?
I'm going to take KC. I know that Tennessee's playing very well and all that stuff. I think that the intangibles will go to KC. KC plays in bad weather as well. The weather in Kansas City is not fantastic.
Right.
So them going to Tennessee is not going to be that big of a deal. Okay.
It does. It will play a factor if Tennessee gets to play that game at home, because the Chiefs atmosphere in that stadium.
Oh, if they gotta go to Kansas City, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Correct.
But
I do think that KC is better on the road than anybody else in that conference.
Right.
And again, I do believe that they have all the moving parts to be able to win.
And I agree. And that's why I'm saying that's why I'm not ready to say, okay, I'm going to book this or book that.
I totally believe they will have a serious chip on their shoulders if they play Tennessee, because that game they had against them was atrocious. So you're definitely not going to get that game, I don't think, even if Henry's playing. It'll be a tough game, but yeah, I just think the same I think if KC plays the way they're supposed to play, I said it all year, I think they were going to end up going to Super Bowl even when they were 3 or 4 or whatever. I think them at kicking on all cylinders, they're going.
Yeah, and I will say this, obviously the focus is on the offense and Mahomes and all that. But listen, Spagnuolo's been there before. And if he can pull a couple out of his hat like he did those 2 times that he played the Patriots and stuffed it, it's, I like their chances. If anybody can do it off, and stifle an offense and bottle up Henry, it's him.
Agree.
So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, that AFC Championship game is going to be great if that's the 2 teams in.
I also want to say the AFC has been crazy all year.
Oh, yeah.
So
parity all day.
You're going to have your 7th seed team 2 games, 3 games out of the top seed. So even though certain teams are playing, remember as always, what team is playing hot going into, I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but hey, Raiders have won 3 straight. If they win that game, 4-game winning streak, you never know. Teams like that.
Bengals
Not
have
saying
been
that
hot.
they go in and win it all, but don't be surprised if we get
They
some
knock
major
somebody
upsets.
off. Right.
The Bengals being young, get a game, you know, they play against maybe Tennessee or the Chiefs, they could sneak one out.
And that's an interesting aspect because sometimes being young, dumb, and oblivious to what the pressure is works to your favor against more experienced teams that have expectations.
Problem is, look, you play the Chiefs again, you're going to play them on the road this time. You're going to have confidence you won the game, but you're playing them on the road. Totally different. That team on the road is going to be a little different. They've lost to the Jets. They've lost to other teams on the road. They might give them a game. I'm looking more at like either the Colts or the Raiders are my sneaky teams to win a game.
I can't count out Bill and the Patriots.
Bills too, because
No, he's talking about Bill Belichick
and the Patriots. I can't count those
right now
guys
it
out.
looks Patriots Bills that they're set up to meet.
So I can't count them out.
You
I can't count out
them out either. You're
I
right.
think the Patriots are and again that's a guy who's not going to put everything on his quarterback and is going to be able to do other things. So
I'm trying to think of not having the Patriots go anywhere again because I'm just.
And let's not forget they have an outside chance of still getting the 1 seed if
I think it's a 3% chance, but they do have a chance.
if both the Chiefs and the Titans lose this weekend.
Yeah, I think though, if in reality, I think the Bills would beat the Patriots if they play. Be back at home again. I think they're rolling also, and I totally forgot. Yeah, I think the Bills match up better against the Titans right now than they would against the Chiefs. So if they had to play, I think that would be maybe an upset there.
Yeah,
the AFC is going to be fun, but at the end of the day, you got to go with the Chiefs.
Since we are speaking of the AFC, when are the Dolphins going to get over the hump?
well, you stole it right out of my mouth.
Get over this whole thing. Maybe move on to. We got the college bowl thing, but we'll scratch the surface just a second. What'd I say? I said, most likely they'd lose because now is back on board. And they did what the Dolphins do to me. They just let me down at the most important times. They let the ball down really bad. It was just, he didn't even show up. Just show up. Just try.
But again, in all honesty, though.
How are you going to run the ball 14 times, bro?
But in all honesty,
come on.
They won 7 in a row after being 1-7.
I'm giving them credit.
So no, I'm not going
it's
there.
Just that.
What I'm trying to say is you're at 8-8.
Yes.
How much longer? How many years are we going to continue?
No.
And my problem is that we don't seem to ever draft or sign or get the right personnel. And you see a team like Cincinnati. Yes. You see a team that all of a sudden got the coach. Got the quarterback, got this guy, and boom.
Listen, they passed. It's going to be the elephant in the room forever. They were 1 pick away from picking the right guy right now. Herbert. They should have picked him at 5 instead of 2, right? It will always be linked. They're going to be married to that unless things turn around.
Okay, but
I still think one more year for this kid because just give him 1 year from 1 to 17 or 18 games, whatever we have.
But Grizz, my thing with that is this, and we're seeing it with Tannehill in Tennessee.
Correct.
Okay, when are the Dolphins going to implement an offense that works with their quarterback?
Exactly.
When are they going to see and say, okay, our quarterback can do this. He's good at this. He's good at that. Okay, so why don't we focus on those things?
We need to protect him. We need to get people to protect him.
Got to get an offensive line.
We need better running backs. I like the fact that Duke and we had, with Lindsey, we picked up these guys off the scrap heap that were actually pretty good, but then we don't use them. We should have had a running game. We should have had 30 and maybe 20 passes. And it's just, and those passes are going to be your dink and dunks anyway.
Well, the problem with that is also I don't think they RPO enough.
No.
And that's his strength. That is his strength.
That is his strength.
That's what he made his money on
in
Alabama. Okay? Yeah, he threw deep a couple of times here and there, but it was most.
I just get people think he can't throw the ball far. I still think you can win consistently with this guy, but with pieces around them. And I get the argument from people I know that, that's not a quarterback you want to have. I go.
Have they looked at Dak Prescott? Because Dak isn't very good when he doesn't have his pieces around him.
Yeah.
None of them are good.
What they're trying to tell me is that Go find an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, go find the next Tom Brady.
Go find a Tom Brady. That doesn't happen. The majority are going to be these quarterbacks that you kind of have to tether a team around them and their strengths.
And are they ready to go to back to the eye and pound the ball 30 times a game? Because that's what you're going to do if you don't have the pieces. If you don't have the pieces, you got to go to that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to give this guy weapons. Throw weapons at him. Draft a bunch of really talented, fast people.
No, and have a good offensive line. To me, it starts up front.
Draft O-line and draft talent.
It starts up front.
That's it. And not like, get yourself that other linebacker. I don't need that guy. Stop getting me a tight end. I don't need that guy either. Just get me, we didn't get Chase because he was picked ahead of us.
Right,
I'm pretty sure if it was between Chase and Waddle, it probably would have been Chase, right? Had we had the choice.
But why is it taking us so long to develop an offensive line?
Yes.
Because, again, we haven't had a good offensive line in I don't know how many years.
Right.
That's been an Achilles heel for the Dolphins for at least 10 years now.
But that has to do with scouting, and that has to do with organizational success in
so now we go back. Do we still trust in Flores? Do we still trust in
but I don't have an issue with Flores. I think Flores has done a good job.
There.
I think Flores is doing a good job.
But the word is they're not in love with Tua, right? So if they're not sold on him, now we're back to everybody's talking about. They're all talking about trading for Watson again. That has come out again.
That's all again and again. I could not
would
blame.
You do it? And would you do it?
I couldn't blame anybody.
And
if he is ready to play, if he's ready to play,
Correct.
which is a huge hurdle.
Yes,
okay.
If he's ready to play. But remember, we're now in our infancies of maybe an Antonio Brown situation in the sense where we have a guy that. I love Deshaun Watson. I love him, but he had 20 allegations of some shit that bothers me, man.
Correct. No, that's a problem.
Two people.
Right. No, that's a problem. No, listen. So again, that's an issue.
Now we're bringing him to Miami.
That's an issue.
Super temptation
there's an issue. No, that's an issue
for whatever he's into. Or whatever he could possibly want to get into.
One of our friends says that if he lives up in Fort Lauderdale, they'll be all right.
It doesn't matter.
I said today that we're living, playing for Miami.
Wherever you live, right?
Playing for Miami is worse than living in Sin City because Sin City closes at 2. We don't. We close at 6.
So he has a quiet way of doing it.
Exactly.
Good.
No, but
great. He's gonna. I'm just saying, he might have the learning of I do bad things. I get traded where I want to go. I still get to do whatever I want. Which I'm saying, I'm crazy. I want talent. Bring me Deshaun Watson still.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I'm probably going to trade away hopefully 2 years of amazing football. Maybe, by year 3, whatever transaction happens in his future.
No, but I think.
But what I'm saying is, I think something will happen.
Organizationally.
It won't end Hall of Fame Dolphins.
It's an
putting that to the side. Organization wise,
the gun on all these things.
Organization wise, they have to build an offensive line.
Correct.
Regardless of who their quarterback is.
They have not drafted.
They have not drafted well. They haven't signed
and
well.
They haven't developed
well. You get me? I don't know who the old.
That's an organizational failure.
Correct.
But that's
my biggest pet peeve about this.
That's why if they do things right this offseason and they go in the way you're talking about, I want to see it play out for a whole season with this guy. And if I get another 9-8 or an 8-9 season, I think I have everything I need to see.
They went 10-6 last year?
Yes.
They went 10-6, but the majority of the games were 50.
Right. Right. But they went 10-6.
But he was, I think, 5-3.
Yeah, he had a winning record. He's got a winning record. Right.
And he wins. And that's the thing, bro. It's not like, we have a quarterback that's led us to like a 3-13 year. Like, we're winning with him.
He's a tough kid. He's a smart kid. He works hard. My biggest pet peeve is, when are you going to build that O-line? When are you going to be able to hang your hat on the offensive front?
And it needs to be done now because they have young talent, which eventually you're going to have to pay.
Well, you have a quarterback on his rookie contract, which is the deal. That's the move.
Right. So, to wrap up our segment here, we've talked about, organizations. We talked about drafting, right? Let's look at some fast facts of some bright young stars who have excelled this year. All right, Cooper Kupp surpasses Isaac Bruce for the most receiving yards in LA Rams history because he was with St. Louis Rams. Isaac Bruce was, I should say, and he has the chance to lock up the Triple Crown in receiving this year. However, I'm talking about this now because this would have been the end of the season in the past. right? I do think that we do need to talk about an asterisk being there for those records.
Well, I think he says that. I think he came out and said that already.
Correct. And kudos to him for saying that. Okay, So and listen, the guy did work this year. Another one, Jonathan Taylor, surpasses Edwin James' rookie record in Indianapolis for rushing yards with 1,734. Okay, that guy's proven to be a beast. All right, we have Herbert, who surpasses Rivers for most touchdowns in a season for the LA Clippers. Okay,
not the Clippers.
The Clippers. I'm sorry.
The Clippers are basketball. I need you to stay with us here, kid.
It's San Diego.
Can you please stay
Chargers,
with us here?
Chargers.
When you see LAC, you think Clippers. I'm still not ready for them to be LA Chargers.
So you're trying to make them the LA Clippers now?
Yeah, and then we have Najee Harris.
It's okay, man. You've had a rough day. Don't
and we have Najee Harris, who surpassed Franco Harris's record for most rushing yards as a rookie for Pitt.
That's huge. That's huge. That's the biggest one.
That's big
again,
time.
Tremendo stiff arm the day too.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's going to work. He's gotten the ball over 320 carries this year.
Yep.
Over 320
that's why
touches.
he was on 3 of my teams this year.
So we'll see how long this lasts for him.
Right, for sure.
Should have been a Dolphin.
But and I brought that up because I wanted to highlight that the future of it's going to be fun, right? Because those are all young, talented individuals that we expect to continue to develop, and as we're going to continue to talk about as we go on here.
Can't wait to put them on my draft board next year, early and often.
So looking forward, obviously next week, once we have this extra game and it plays out, and the playoff picture settles down, we're going to be excited to talk about what the playoffs look like finally next week.
That'll be fun.
Should be fun.
Yeah, should be a lot of fireworks.
It was this week when we kind of know. Imagine what we're going to talk about when we do know.
Yes, sir. So we're going to wrap this up here, and we're going to come back in a minute here to talk about the big game in college football. The stage is set for Georgia, Alabama, part 2, whatever it is, right, in the national championship. The SEC championship, Alabama just straight up steamrolled Georgia after Georgia was
steamrolling everybody else.
Georgia was touted as probably the best defense ever, and Alabama put that to bed real quick. Okay, but I'd be remiss to not recap the semifinal games that happened last week. As expected, Alabama took down Cincinnati Bearcats. Thank you for participating, but we're going to move on to the real matchup. And then the bigger surprise was Georgia just taking it to Michigan, and I know the Grizz and I, our hearts were with Michigan there.
Surprising to only a few.
I know. We knew. Our brains told us, but we would have liked to at least see a little bit more life out of Michigan. It looked like they got absolutely outcoached in that game. That there are things that you can do as a coach to kind of keep it a little closer than what it was. But, Drummond, let me get your thoughts on what the semifinals look like. Obviously, no one's surprised. Yes, Coach, we know. But, it's worth noting, No,
I mean, I do think people were surprised with how that game played out. But again, like we talked about here last week, and, sadly, that's how it works out. Whenever you have a really popular underdog, usually the case is that they get blown out. I think Georgia's been built for this moment.
Right.
I know that things didn't work out a couple of weeks ago, but I really think that might be the chip on their shoulder to overtake Alabama. Whereas Alabama was the one a couple of weeks ago that was getting disrespected and things like that. Losing to Alabama in the fashion that they got slammed put them in a roller coaster. Click, all the way up to be able to beat the Panthers, okay, to beat Michigan, and then to the Wolverines, and then now to prepare for Alabama, okay. I think that Kirby's going to have his team ready. I think the offense will play a better role than what they did last time. Okay, yeah. I think they were on display against a pretty good Michigan defense.
They were, and I would agree with that. I think Michigan didn't do themselves any favors by kind of like trying to stick to they were very, very one-dimensional. Didn't adjust at all. But, going back to the Georgia point, right? Georgia was giving up less than a touchdown a game the entire season until, they ran into a buzzsaw against Alabama. SEC championship game, Alabama put 41 on them and completely stunned everybody. But as you said, and I completely agree with your points there, I think it's what Georgia needed to right the ship because, let's call it what it is. When you're doing that type of damage throughout a season, you get cocky, you get loose.
Get a little complacent.
You get complacent. That's a phenomenal word to use there, SAT. Get it right, okay? And you get a little, you get rid of the details a little bit when you're rolling like that. So I think Alabama, I think that game, and as you said, I do think that Georgia's going to come through with a chip on their shoulder now. If anybody can pull it off, because let's call it what it is, Saban is extremely successful against his former assistants. I think he may be undefeated, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he lost this year. Jimbo.
Oh, to Jimbo.
Jimbo beat him. Jimbo's been the only one right now that's beating him.
But Jimbo's been the only one. But if anyone can do it, Kirby's the closest to a facsimile of Saban.
No, and I think, not just Kirby, but I think, again, the talent on that Georgia team, they've got good running backs. They've got a great offensive line. They've got good receivers. Got 2 decent quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay? Not only that, we're also looking at their defense. Solid up front, good linebackers, and in the defensive backfield is also extremely talented.
Right.
So I think that film from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago is going to help them. They're also going to have film now from Alabama playing Cincinnati early on, especially in the game, and I think that they're going to be well prepared to win and beat Alabama for the national title.
So what's I know you had it up there. What's the line right now?
Right now it's Georgia -3. It's Georgia -3. It started at 2.5. It's Georgia -3. And then again, I like that line movement just because everybody is taking Alabama, and now Alabama this week becomes the popular underdog. Alabama will be the one that everybody give me the points, give me the points, give me the points. How can you give me points? And I think that that Georgia will be able to come up here.
Yeah, and when you look at Georgia's defense, yeah, in a sense, like it was due. You know what I'm saying? Like they were due for it.
They're playing Alabama.
Yeah,
you get me? And again,
and the SEC was very mediocre this year, except for the top 2 dogs.
Correct.
And they're built to beat each other. Let's call it what it is.
Correct. And again, the that's going to be a great football game. The over/under is 52. I think it's going to be over.
Oh, you think it's going to be over?
I really do. I really believe, for whatever reason, if you go back a couple years and take a look at the Clemson, Alabama games and things like that, the overs are always in the 50s and 60s because both defenses are always usually pretty good, but the offenses are so good.
Right.
And you get chunk plays and you get boom, and all of a sudden it's 14-14, 21-21, and that's 42 points. They're playing and they're scoring.
And yes, and you have a lot of experience looking at this. And, the SEC championship game, it was a relatively high-scoring game. Again, this is another, hunch, heart feeling, if you want to call it. I do think that I think it does have a good chance of going a different direction and being an extremely defensive, slobber knocker type game. Whereas it kind of unexpectedly turned into an aerial assault there for a little bit in the SEC championship game.
If you take a look at them when they played last year, I believe they played last year.
Correct.
Again, that was a high-scoring game.
Right.
These offenses are high-octane offenses.
Right.
And, yeah, they're going to get some stops, but you're going to have,
the chunks.
like I said, the chunk plays, the big plays, boom, touchdown. Right? Chunk, touchdown.
Right.
And that's what happens. You end up getting a barrage of points in the middle of the between the first and second quarter. You get 21, 28 points. You know what I'm saying?
And then when the play calling starts loosening up.
And there, you're 28 points into a 52.
100%.
All of a sudden, this game could be 30-28. It's a close game. It's not an overly high-scoring game, but they scored 58 points.
Combined points.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my whole take on this. That I really think that Georgia will play a much better tempo on offense, and I think that their offense will score, and their defense will be better prepared for some of the things that Alabama did.
I would agree with that. Now, all right, let's put our money where our mouth is. Grizz, you've been extremely quiet there, taking in all of this information and this football talk.
I love the knowledge that our resident coaches here have, so I listen. That's what I do.
You have to put money down. What do we got? What are you thinking?
But I'm agreeing a lot today with the Gill. The Gill says Georgia. I say Georgia as well. The Gill says over. I say over as well. It feels like it. It feels like a 31-24 game. That's how I'm smelling. And it feels like one of those games where it is 31-24, but they're chunk plays, so they, like you said, it doesn't feel like it's...
There's excitement.
Yeah, it's these big plays. They score real quick, but then the defenses still play hard throughout the rest of the game. Like, there'll be some 3-and-outs. There'll be a bunch of those, but, you know, it could also get crazy with turnovers and stuff like that because these defenses are that good. But I just think that it will be a high-score game in that sense. It will be Georgia looking for a little revenge. Now, once again, having said that, I also, now you tell me Nick Saban's an underdog. He's going to be talking to his people. Oh, they're disrespecting us again. We're underdogs. They're barely underdogs all the time, but they're underdogs this time again.
Yeah, but I think that the talk, the pundits will be talking up Alabama. You get me? Whereas before, they were talking, they weren't talking them up.
Yeah, I think this game's more about because Kirby has been up against Bama. The Georgia has been up against Bama in every matchup since Kirby's been there, and Saban's been able to rally the troops and steal it from them whenever it looks like it's been in hand. So can Kirby get over the hump? Can he sustain what he's been able to do? Throughout an entire game. Can we get to 0-0 on the clock and Georgia makes it there on top? So definitely interesting. I do think that they get over a hump. I'm gonna pick Georgia outright on that one as well. Again, we'll see. All right, we'll hold ourselves accountable next week. Game is on Monday night at 8 p.m. So interesting matchup. It's gonna be fun. All right, there's two powerhouse programs.
And let me tell you something. The future in college football is going to be crazy.
Yes, sir.
This offseason. We're seeing, again, like we
transfer
mentioned.
portal has been insane.
We mentioned last week, we got all these guys in the transfer. We got all these starting quarterbacks in the transfer portal. It's insane. It's insane. The starting quarterback from Oklahoma is now in the transfer portal trying to see what's out there, see what's available. Dylan Gabriel's going to Oklahoma.
It's free agency, ladies and gentlemen.
It's all over the place. So, again, there's going to be a lot of moves this offseason. Spring football is going to be huge. Spring football is going to be really, really big to look and see who the players are and where they're at. That's going to be
right. You're going to and
where they're at.
You'll see come March and April, there's going to be a barrage of talent that hits the transfer portal once quarterback battles get settled, right? And across the board, really. Because now with this opening up, you're not going to have these redshirt freshmen and these younger backs that are 5 stars waiting behind the established starter. Right. These guys are going to hit it because they want to play now.
Right. If they can have the opportunity to play right now, they'll go take it.
Correct. So that's definitely going to be interesting, and it sets the stage. And we've already seen it. We've seen the parity start to form, but it sets the stage for a pretty unpredictable 2022 football season. So looking forward to that. That's going to be interesting, and it's definitely going to give us a lot of material to examine and talk about during the offseason here. Moving forward to that, we're going to come right back here in a second with Coach's Deep Dive and a little look at some college basketball as we go in there. Coach, you have anything to
No, that's it. That's it. We'll talk a little college basketball in a minute.
Yes, sir. And we're back to wrap up this week's show with a little look into some college basketball and Coach's Deep Dive of the Week. So, Coach, take it away with this week's look into some college basketball action.
Well, today we had some games tonight that were pretty important. With Kentucky taking on LSU. LSU bounced back from their lone loss the other day. They were able to beat Kentucky by 5. Kansas is playing right now against Oklahoma State. And Texas was able to beat Kansas State. Again, the Big 12 and SEC has some really good teams in it.
Yeah, Baylor 13-0. They're rolling right now. They're number one in the nation.
Baylor won this evening today, a tight game. They failed to cover. You're going to have this weekend, you've got Alabama at Florida. You have Ohio State at Indiana. And Iowa playing at Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a big upset last night. Big game. They were able to win last night. Again, Big 10, Big 12. Everybody except the ACC. Duke is playing tonight.
Duke currently number 2 in the nation.
Duke should be the cream of the crop as far as the ACC is concerned. As we said before, I'm gonna put up some plays probably during the week on our social media, on our Twitter account, and our Instagram. So please follow along as I put those plays up. I was able to hit LSU tonight at -2.
There you go. I
like that one, and we're starting to put some numbers together. As far as our deep dive is concerned, we finished the college football season at 90, 73, and 5 with a 56% winning rate. Our bowl selections were 60%, so we ended the season really nicely. Last week, we told you guys about the Dolphins losing to Tennessee. We said take Tennessee at -3.5. We've got a couple of ugly dogs for you this week. This week we are on the Dolphins against the New England Patriots. It's back down to 6.5. If it goes back up to 7, I like them a lot at 7. I also like it's an ugly one. The Carolina Panthers +8.
Goo.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's not going to play anybody. I think they're sitting everybody down, and that's my focus this week. Pretty much on all these teams, is who's got what, who's going where, and who's sitting. So again, I like the Dolphins because they always play the Patriots tough here at home. The Panthers are going to be an interesting team. Another game that I'm leaning towards, and it's a real ugly game, but just a number. The number's just way out there, and it's the Jets +16.5. We're leaning in that direction. We'll see how that continues to go.
Did you just include the Jets on your deep dive?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's all about the number. It's not about the team. It's about the number. The more you look at football, the more you understand it's about the number. And the other team that I'm also leaning towards, that I haven't quite taken hook, line, and sinker on them yet, is the 49ers +4 at Los Angeles. I think they match up well with the Rams.
There's a lot on the line for them too, so they're going to be motivated.
They've beaten the Rams, I think 4 or 5 times in a row now. They play really well against them, so I think that's going to be a big game. And that's it for the deep dive. Those are our picks for this week and our leans. I will put out more things on the social media.
Will you become more confident?
As I see the lines go, like I said, I like the Dolphins at 7. It's at 6.5. If it stays at 6.5, I'll probably take them. The Jets, if it goes to 17, 18, I mean, I'm going to take them because I think the Jets have a lot more to play for.
And they've been playing a lot tougher these past couple weeks.
No, they have. They put up a great game against Tampa Bay.
Always tough against the GOAT.
So we all, and like I said, we like the Panthers. We'll see if that goes up some more. And we'll go from there and see what happens.
Grizz, you have any gut calls for this week? You want to talk about your little parlay that went sideways?
No, I don't. I just can't believe the Chiefs, didn't pull off the win when they had the game, won the whole game. But that's neither there nor here. No, I love all of the dives, picks. I mean, how can you argue? The man wins more than he loses. We respect that. We love that.
Proof's in the pudding.
Proof's in the pudding. Every now and then.
Numbers don't lie.
Every now and then I got one that I'm like, might be a little different. Not really, I'm not really feeling my Fins this week. I think they're going to give it the effort that they need, but, I will say if the Bills are killing the Jets at the half, Bill will sit his team for sure. Because if he doesn't have the division on the line, he's he'll drop everybody. So maybe that can help the Fins. But other than that, I don't feel good. And then the other reason is I do think the Bills probably win by 50. As the Jets, I think they're all right, let's go. Let's tap out. Let's go. Go home. They're the Jets. Other than that, I say bet the favorites this week. It's just people that need to win are favored. Pick them.
Don't forget, they don't have to cover. They just have to win.
They just have to win. I'm a money line guy, so I'll just bet that shit on money line. Pay the extra. These I don't like these. I'd say the Bills are going to win by 50, but if I put any money on it,
you know what? Now that you mentioned, I think you may be right. I think that Buffalo might put it on the Jets.
But hell, if I say they're going to win by 50 and I put a bet on it, sure enough, it's 10 points that they win by. So don't take me. You listen to the Gilski for the deep dive for a reason, gentlemen.
Yeah, listen to Coach.
Ladies.
He's just the color commentary.
But having said that, I get one right here and there.
Yes, he does.
You throw
Hawaii over in Hawaii. Anytime in Hawaii, play the over.
I did have Cardinals money line against the Cowboys. I did have the Raiders money line. But unfortunately, I had those Chiefs. That was the parlay. You got it out of me. God damn it. The team that's favored loses. Come on. Win one for me, man. I get these underdogs. I bet the craziness, they hit. What are you doing to me? But then again, Gil only talks about these straight bets. I do the parlays, the sickness, the ones that don't hit. But I'm about the sickness. I'm the Grizz. I'm done.
A phenomenal show this week, gentlemen. Loved it. We got a lot more information to cover as we go along here, and the playoffs are set. Next week's going to be fun for sure.
A lot of good stuff.
Show.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And national championship, just icing on the cake.
We're gonna get into the title game. Will be the day before that we tape, so we'll have some good talk there. And yeah, man, enjoy it. We only got like a month and a half left of this football, and then what do? I know we got other sports. We got the college basketball, the other good stuff, but we love ourselves football.
We'll also talk a little MMA next week. We're also going to talk a little MMA next week. Got some big fights coming up.
When the fights come out, that's what we're here for. We want to talk more MMA. And remember, guys, comment. Tell us what you want to hear. We want to know. We're looking for any obscurity. Hey, Winter Olympics are coming. I'm big on curling. Definitely do a segment on that. I'm totally down. If you're not into curling, you're missing out.
Missing out big time.
Now.
I love
You're
curling.
missing out
big time.
I love curling.
And every now and then it's good to, just watch a sport for the sport.
For the fun of it.
Even though we are degenerates here, I might have a few bucks. U.S. is always in the contention. Come on. But
especially if they got a good sweeper.
Yeah, we got a hell of a sweeper. Have you seen these people? They sweep like crazy. But once again, that's coming up, man. We got the Winter Olympics coming up after the Super Bowl, man. Come on. Let's go.
No, it's definitely going to get interesting. And, like Coach and Grizz said, comment, share, subscribe. Give us feedback. Tell us what you want to hear. That's what we're here for. We're here for you. This is fun for us, but at the end of the day, you guys is what make this happen. So share, comment, follow, okay? Help us spread this out. It's been fun, but help us continue on our path to grow this into something special. Coaches, Grizz, it's been fun this week. Looking forward to it again next week.
Have a good week.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, just enjoy your week, guys.